to discuss. And I wanted to ask for your advice. So we will have some time for questions and answers in the end if needed. But now there are three very specific ideas or questions that I thought I wanted to discuss with you. And I'll get to the most, I guess, interesting and promising one right away. And I strongly believe that we need to do it. The question is how. And that is the idea of creating something or requiring participants to join, or first creating and then joining, let's call it for now, the X-Culture Global Talent Search. And I'll give you a little background as to why I think we need it, and second, where I sort of stole the idea. And then hopefully with your help, we can brainstorm it and see how we can make it work. So I'm going now through, okay, just a second. I'm also experimenting with, yeah, okay, let's go to gallery. I'm going now through the data received from the X-Culture University from the last semester. And as always, and it's been always the problem, the only complaint that we really have, the only problem that we really have is that of free writing. So people sign up, people start, but then at some point lose interest, get busy at work, or for whatever other reason do not participate very actively. And under normal circumstances, if we offered like an online course for individuals, we wouldn't care. So you paid, you enrolled. If you don't participate, that's your problem. But in our case, we have 5, 6, 7 team members. And if somebody doesn't participate, it affects them, and that undermines the quality of their experience and satisfaction. And so as a result, every slacker leads to a problem for everyone. And so even though it's a small percentage of people who don't do much, but those few people spoil the experience for many more participants in the project. Just one second. Bruno? My dog is trying to play here. So that is one. And I thought if we had a kind of intermediate step where that makes selection more difficult and membership more prestigious, we would be, one, able to weed out some people who shouldn't be in the program. So those who are not fully committed, they will not go through the process. And second, those who will go through the process and finally succeed and will be accepted, they will be valuing the participation, the membership in the organization, in the program more, and as a result will put in more effort. So that's one reason. Another reason is that we will be dealing with children here. Just a second. Sophia, can you get Bruno out of there? So we will be working with parents, and one of the goals we have is to, well, not goals, necessities, is to attract more people to the program. And so one of the, in this case, more of a marketing tricks would be to name the participants, first accept only, but then those who are here, basically give them a badge of talentship. So basically call them exceptional, gifted, talented children. And so once the participation in the program comes with a title, there will be probably many more parents willing and aspiring to join the program. And I'll just tell you how this works from what I've seen so far at the university level. So here in the United States, as you know, there is a big difference between good schools and other schools. So like there is Harvard, Stanford, Yale, Berkeley, and then there is everybody else. And so those big name schools all pretty much make a lot of money on offering special programs to the kids. And so the way they do it is they would offer like summer courses, sometimes online courses, sometimes like weekend training and stuff like that, summer camps. And inevitably, always, they would have some sort of an attachment to that of a exceptionality. So they would, for example, like Duke, they call their program Duke Tip, which stands for, can't remember what the abbreviation stands, but they call it talent and something search. So basically, you have to take a little test to qualify and be deemed talented. And if you do, you can be accepted into those programs. And then when you qualify, they give you those bumper sticker that you put on your bumper. And many parents are proudly displaying those bumper stickers and basically bragging that their children are exceptional as judged by Duke. And so you have the same program at pretty much all of the major universities, and they always call it like a gifted program and stuff. Now, with Duke, my children have gone through that, some of those things, and so I'm now trying to enroll them in a similar program to the one that we have here, just to see how they do it. And so what's upsetting to me actually is that there is really no formal selection. So what they do is when you apply to Duke programs like summer camps or internship programs, you have to presumably qualify for that talent search program. But all you have to do is basically report your children's grades and tell if the child has ever scored in top whatever percentile on either IQ test or so-called end-of-grade tests. So here you have those end-of-grade standard tests. And so nobody asks for any documentation. Nobody asks the children to take any tests. It's just parents telling that, yes, my child is exceptional and is, let's say, top 10%. I don't like it because I have no doubt that many parents basically, just say and nobody checks. But at the same time, I have no doubt that they don't even check, they don't care. So the whole point here is to make you believe that by participating in that program, your child is basically a, wonder child, Wunderkind, exceptional, gifted, and stuff like that. And parents line up and pay a lot of money so that they can believe for themselves and maybe brag for the friends that, oh, my child is so special, she or he is in Duke Talent program, for example. Now, with us, I don't want to make it, fake. So as I said, I would like to have a real selection test. And I thought the test would include the following components. It could be an actual IQ test. And so there are many, it doesn't have to be, we know how IQ tests work. I created quite a few tests in my life. And so it's easy to recreate one. So you just, have some questions that are relatively easy or difficult to answer, and you score those answers. So it can be, basically like a regular test. It doesn't have to be, so there are literally thousands of IQ tests. And as you know, IQ tests scored, it's a standard score. So it doesn't matter what kind of absolute score you get, you always score relative to other participants. And that's why they're always 100 is the average, and then below or above, basically standard deviation. Doesn't matter. Then we can also include a test of English, which we already use with the ex-culture students. So nothing difficult, we developed it, but we want to check and make sure that people, have the basic understanding of English. I also wanted to add in that report the grades, but not only just make up and report. Take a copy of your report card and include it so we can actually see some sort of documentation. Maybe also ask for a reference letter from a teacher, maybe one or even two teachers, and maybe even ask the child to record a video where the child would answer some questions, and just, that would allow us to kind of judge how well the person can express himself or herself. And so that shouldn't take much time. It should take, I don't know, maybe let's say 30 minutes of the actual test plus attach the documents, or maybe 20 minutes. But that would allow us to do several things. One, it's a selection tool. So we will only, kind of pre-qualify people for the program who have those basic requirements. And as I said, we probably don't want people who cannot get certain score on that test. It doesn't have to be super selective, but there must be some sort of like a minimum qualification. And so if people don't meet that minimum qualification, as I said, we probably don't want them anyway, because they will not do well and they will probably spoil experience for everybody else. Second, that will create an image of selectivity and talent, and we will literally call those children, they are in ex-culture global talent search program, for example. So for people, parents especially, it will make them feel good and will make them more committed. And at the same time, as I said, the participation level probably will go a little bit up. So, and third, this extra hurdle, makes the program, to be perceived more valuable. If you invest so much in it, so you probably will want to stay in it. So the only question, or the only reservation I have, or two reservations I have: one, it is a complicated intermediate step, and so many qualified people may just give up without going through it, and so they may think, it's just too much, I don't want to. So under normal circumstances, they would have participated and did well, but this will basically, reduce their interest to go through. Second, Sophia, I'm on the call here. Go play somewhere else. Second, it may look a little too much like a marketing ploy. And I'm not sure if it will look that way to people who don't know what we are trying to do. But to those who do, and I know like what those universities are trying to do, it sometimes offends me a little bit because it feels to me like they're trying to play games with me. On the one hand, I kind of like that they do it because I don't want my children to be in a class in a team with people who can't even complete a half-an-hour test. But at the same time, I kind of know that it's semi-necessary, semi-real. So, and then third, obviously, what would the process be? So would they first have to qualify for this program? Would they have then submit an application? Or when they submit an application, they would have to do it as a part of the application? Or can they do it right after they submit the application and then we kind of, approve the application contingent upon their ability to join this talent search program? So that I don't know. Most universities, by the way, charge extra for taking that, talent search test. I guess we will just make it free. But those are my thoughts. And I would like to hear what you have to say about that. And do you think it would be a good idea? And if so, how do we do it? And if not, why not? Or maybe we can even come up with some sort of a hybrid idea. So what would you say, guys?
I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, I muted my microphone. Should we call you Raza or should we call you Sayed?
Raza, R-A-Z-A.
Raza, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I feel your this plan is missing out on a, I would say, let's call it a final reward, right? So people who go through such programs, such talent hunt programs, or if they want to go through such rigorous testing methods, so they'd probably expect an end goal, right? An end reward, like a scholarship or something. So if we can incorporate that into this program somehow, like you were talking about the Dell partnership. So if we can somehow partner up with Dell and, in the end, help them with their college fees or something like that. What I'm trying to say is that we need to have some good end reward. So it would definitely make it much more likable for the participants.
Let me address that. So in this case, we're not talking about a separate program per se. We are talking about the condition, the requirement to participate in Xculture. So we are not saying that it's a separate program or it's something that is independent and you do it for some sort of a reward. No, we are saying that in order to be able to participate in Xculture, you must qualify for our program. And so you must take this test before we even determine if you are good enough or not. Yevgeny is here, so at some point he said maybe let them take a test that is similar to the theory test they would take eventually and allow them to kind of preview if they're good enough. And so I thought about that idea and I thought I would embed it as a kind of demo test. But as I said here, I'm actually saying that maybe it shouldn't be like a demo, it should be a requirement. Only people who qualify for the Xculture Talent Search are allowed to participate in the Xculture training program, are allowed to attend the Xculture Global Symposium, are allowed to take part in the Xculture webinars if we do them. So basically only people who are strong enough to meet our basic requirements for kind of talent or skill or whatever you want to call it, only they can participate in Xculture activities, which I guess in a sense becomes the reward. Would that make sense, or it's not exactly what you
it would make sense. I think I get what you're trying to say, but my only concern here would be that it would make it might just reduce the number of participants, right? Because they might think that it's a difficult thing to get into. They might perceive it as a difficult thing to get into, while in reality it might not be as difficult. That's just my concern here.
Reduce is not necessarily bad because, as I said, we want only the best, or we don't want some, but at the same time, yes, it may reduce. There may be good people who will just not want to go through the hassle. And then the whole separate question that I will ask later: how do you do it at the level of the school, of the teacher? What if some people in the class qualify and some don't, or how do you handle that? But anyway, yes, good point. Anything else? Yes, Sushant. Yeah, go ahead.
May I know what is the free riding ratio right now in Xculture? Like the percentage?
It is hard to quantify because how do you define free rider?
3 to 7% of the total participation number?
No, what I mean is that after which point do you call the person free rider? And so I'll give you full statistics, and you decide what you want to do with that. So when we do peer evaluations on a weekly basis, on average, people get 4 out of 5, which means that on average, people are happy with each other. And only about 10% would score below 3. 3 being okay, or kind of basically less than okay. So that's a fairly small number. Then when you ask what percentage of your team or how many people on your team actively participate in the project, usually we get about half a person per team who is labeled not actively participating. So when the team size is, let's say, on average 7, usually on average people say 6.5 participate actively in the project. So it means that 1 in 2 teams has 1 person who is not actively participating. In the end, about 3% of the people perform so poorly that they get excluded from the project altogether. So we would have out of, let's say, 4,000 or 5,000, we would have, I don't know, a couple dozen people who actually get excluded. And so the way that works is if the peer evaluations are below 2.01 week, we send a warning. And after that, almost all people get back on track and start working hard. But if they get 2.0 or less 2 weeks in a row, we exclude them. And so those would be like real free riders. And so that's a small percentage, as I said, about maybe 2% total, maybe even less than that. So it's only a few dozen, but those are, like really bad people. But when you get back to the post-project comments, and when you ask them, tell us what happened and how it went, the biggest concern, it's still not a huge percentage, but you hear that from most of the people would mention it. They would say, well, some of the team members didn't work as hard as I expected them to do. And so the problem here, as I said, even though the percentage of free riders is small, but each one of them affects a large number of people. And so even if you have them, let's say only 5%, so multiply that by 7, and all of a sudden, half of the participants have that problem, or even more than half. And so that's the challenge.
Okay, so your training, your talent search program will basically help in sorting out some people out of the 3%. Of course, you won't be able to sort out those with the people who like put out of the program due to some work or anything else. So it would remain like some people would still be excluded because they would be too busy to work.
Well, there are two components here. That's actually my area of training. So my master's was specifically in this sort of stuff. So you have 2 areas here, or 2 ways in which this intermediate step may improve the situation. One, selection. So you literally can detect some potential free riders early on and not let them participate. So it doesn't have to be, as I said, a very high threshold. It doesn't mean that we will take only top 5%. It may mean that we will only exclude like bottom 20%. Like, we may take almost all people, but if you see that they really are not good, then you just exclude them, so you don't even allow them to participate, so they don't, spoil everybody's experience. And 2, equally important, even if you still take everyone, the point here is people go through the selection. They see that it's, hard. Not everybody gets in, but I did get in. So they value it more. They take it much more seriously. They feel, like they've been given a privilege to be in this. And as a result, they participate more. And so here, as I said, you have on the one hand selection, but on the other hand, kind of inducing the right sort of, motivation and feeling. So those who went through, they will probably perform better. And so those are the ideas behind this idea, Not to mention that in our case, as I said, something's telling me, I don't have a proof for this third component. As I said, the first 2 we did test extensively in Xculture, so we know once we added the selection, like before that, we didn't have the readiness test. Once we added the readiness test, even though most people pass it, but performance went dramatically up. So I suspect that's the reason, people feel like they've done better. And a few people don't pass it, and so I guess that's good too. But the third component could be that, as I said, the prestige and the demand that comes with it. Something's telling me that when we deal with parents, especially, tell them that only gifted children can participate. You can test your child for giftedness for free. And so when the child passes the test, the parents like, oh, they tell, like some cool universities and professors told me that my child is gifted. And by the way, as I said, we can really test for that. And I think they will kind of covet that more people will want to do it. More people who go through, who get some sort of like a certificate like this, they will go and tell their friends and say, oh, my child is gifted. So, And then those people will think, oh, maybe I should take that test too. Maybe my child will qualify as well. And so as a result, as I said, it may actually attract more people to the program as well. Basically, will make your job easier. Yes, Raza, go ahead.
Yeah, so you said that you're going to use it as a mechanism for entry into X-Culture program, right? So we're probably talking about the college program here.
Well, we're talking about children specifically. So for the university, we have something similar. As I said, we do have a readiness test. They all have to take the test. So first the professor has to qualify, then children have to qualify. And here we'll still have a readiness test as well. But, we don't want to call the students, gifted, not gifted. I guess it would be too complicated. And as I said, with this whole program, one of the challenges I have is that if we want to do it at the level of professors, like if you go to talk to a school, then does it mean that the entire class must, qualify for this talent program? That would be very hard to enforce. So maybe we'll have, if we do it, maybe we'll say only individual participants have to qualify. For professors, maybe we'll say the professor has to, I don't know, either professor has to qualify or the professor has to vouch for the whole class. So that will be a little bit more complicated to do it at the group level.
Yeah, so again, my concern here is I think at the high school level, basically what we're trying to do is that we're trying to build prestige around the word X-Culture, right? So I think we should focus more on the awareness first. We should let the program run for the high school kids for, I don't know, we should let, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I think we should let the program run first for the first few sessions. I don't know, maybe the first 4 to 5 sessions. And after that, we should try this because I feel that the awareness is not strong enough yet for people to build this prestige link with this test yet. I think we should let the first few rounds go as it is.
Yeah, not complicated too much in the first round.
Yes. I think just build awareness around it. Just people know that a program of X-Culture is in place for high school kids.
Yeah, good idea. Well, it's a valid point. Let's see what others have to say. I see somebody, Galaxy S8 Plus, raise the hand. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, go ahead.
Me?
Yes,
Sorry.
please.
Okay.
Jasmine.
I kind of agree with what he's saying because we don't have enough awareness of X-Culture. Yes, it will be nice that it will be known as a kind of exclusive project for gifted kids or kids that are, I don't know, doing better academically. But at this point, since we're advertising it as a pilot program that we know is a proven system that works with college students, I think it will be easier for us to sell it to the parents and the teachers, knowing that, hey, right now we're accepting anybody because we want to show you how this works. But eventually, maybe on the second run, it's going to be more selective. So, hey, sign up now because eventually, the screening process will be a little more, I don't know, there'll be tests or some type of prerequisites in order to be able to register. Because I think that one of the biggest things that we need to focus on is making awareness. Like everyone I talk to, I mean, they know what I've done because of the competitions that I participated. So I am living proof of that X-Culture work. But what happens when those people are still kind of iffy about it? So if we allow them to sign up and they see what it is, and then we tell them, hey, sign up your kid now because if he might not qualify for the program next round. And there will still be some screening process, but it's not as, there won't be that many processes this time around on the screening. They will still take the readiness portion that they still have to do, but that's it. Later on, there will be a GPA requirement or maybe a letter of recommendation from a student or someone from the school, make it a little more exclusive, just like they do with the STEM program. Kids get nominated to participate, and that's what makes it so elite and exclusive. And so when the kids get selected, the parents are really excited and they make efforts to have their kids participate. But at this point, I think one of the main things we got to focus on is awareness.
Jasmine, so here the important thing is, one, I wouldn't sell ourselves short. We have universities with some very, very big names participating in the project. And so the project itself is very, very known in the academic community, at least. I don't think we should wait until, the global population knows about us to call ourselves, we select for talent and stuff like that. So I think we already have enough kind of clout, enough recognition in the academic community to call ourselves that. That's one. Two, as I said here, let's see, somebody's sound is breaking. But anyway, two, as I said, the whole point here is that how should I put it? We can name ourselves whatever we want, as I said, for marketing purposes, as long as there is some substance behind it. And if there is a selection test, if we really test people how good, how skilled they are, I guess you don't need to have a big brand attached to it to say, you know, so many people took this test and your child is among, you know, like they passed. So in this case, it's an objective measure, and I guess it makes that the right tone, set the right tone from the very beginning. I'm just afraid if we don't do it from the very beginning, what will happen is, or may happen, some people will sign up, they will not participate. Others will say, oh, I don't care about this program, or I didn't have a good experience because half of my team, you know, my daughter's team members didn't participate actively. So this must not be a serious program. And so that's why I'm kind of thinking maybe we should be a little bit more selective just to make sure that we're at the right time from the very beginning. But I am also open to the idea of giving it a try without it and then seeing what happens and then going. Anyone else?
I mean,
Yes, go ahead, Jasmine.
no. I was just saying because I don't know. I know that X culture, once people hear about it and they start researching about it, they will find a lot of success stories and stuff. So yes, it is a big name. But I'm just saying to kind of make the parents feel a little more comfortable. But I do get your side, because at the end of the day, you don't want to have a group of kids that eventually half of them drop out because there's, oh, I just signed up and they let me in. So I do get the sense that, but if we're still doing the readiness assessment, and
yeah, so that's true. We will have a theory training and then readiness test. And so my big hope is that that will be sufficient to, you know, to detect slackers. Yeah. Good point. Anyone else? Any other thoughts? Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I would say that what actually parents want to hear when the kids get certificate or they are involved in some good project, they want to hear that I am a good parent, actually, and that's what this thing will give. But as you said, that possibly will make more active all the people involved, all the kids involved. I would say that talented and active are not the same. So maybe it will be some percent of people that will be involved more actively, but it's not equal. I mean, if more talented kids are involved, it's not we can't state that they all will be active, like 100% of them. Plus, if we want to go with this on the first semester, or as what was mentioned, I don't know. We have not a lot of time for that, and maybe we'll try without that.
Well, I wouldn't worry about the time. So all we need for this is just basically add a line on the application form that you must qualify for the X-Culture Global Talent Search Program in order to participate. And here is, you know, your child will have to take this test. So as far as, you know, preparing, that's easy. So we can do it by the end of the day today. The question is, do we want to add it, you know, for the reasons that you need? So it may be a little too complicated, a little too difficult, all of that. So, I definitely agree with the point that it may slow down us a little bit as far as the applications go. But as far as the preparation, technical side shouldn't be too hard to do.
Okay, and another one, as you said that maybe we'll do it for individuals, and for groups will be like just simple procedure. But individuals, like, how to say it, put more efforts even now without that to be involved in the project, you know? So we will put even more barriers for them. Is it reasonable?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe to do it for all, but to think about how to do it. and not to make another barrier, but to put it like in all structure, like to make the test that is already there, to make it more structured, and to name it like a talent test or sort of that. Thank you.
All right, who goes next? Aurimas? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, probably I will go with Evgeny. He made a good point. I don't think that we have to have a really strong talent for the participation, because we can lose a crowd and a numerous crowd of guys there. Let's be honest, we don't have skilled people here. It's not skills, actually. It's more attitude. They're kids, actually. Their skills is to create something. Yeah, it's not kind of skill. It's more attitude or just an active guy. So I don't know how we can measure the activity and the attitude. So probably
no. As far as measurement, don't worry about that. As I said, we extensively test all kinds of things in the actual X culture. And so we know what predicts performance. So as I said, when it comes to measuring that, so it shouldn't be too hard, or at least we can use some of the experience we have in that area. The bigger question is it necessary? One, and second, will it complicate the application process to the point that not many people will go through with it? So that's the big challenge.
On the other hand, if we will do some, I don't know, structure, so it, of course, again, it won't be very easy for them. If we're talking about the kids' activity, so on the other hand, it should be free form, actually, to fill the gaps, to fill, not the structured ones, but to, I don't know, just to show their creativity or something like that. So, but I believe that that's not the point of whole X culture thing, so maybe that's other side of the kids' X culture.
Yep. Good point too. Anyone else? By the way, you have an option to raise a hand somewhere here. I saw that Jasmine did it, and I have no idea how you do it. Jasmine, how did you raise your hand? Because it showed me right away that you were trying to talk.
Actually, I'm doing it with the phone, and when I have it tilted sideways, I don't have the option. I have to flip the phone over, and when I see you, the little icons come on the bottom.
Yeah, I guess since we see each other, you know, you can literally raise your hand visually.
Oh, actually, if you click at your camera, if you're looking at multiple people, if you click on your face, on the bottom it has the audio, video, share, and then if you click on other or more, I think I have it in Spanish. I'm sorry.
Maybe I don't have it. Maybe I don't have it because I'm the host of the meeting, and so it doesn't allow me. But anyway, Nora raised her hand. So Nora, go ahead. Unmute your microphone. Go ahead and talk. Nora?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, hi, how are you? Sorry, I wasn't able to join the first meeting last time. I think this will complicate the process, and yes, it will definitely make us lose crowd. Mm-hmm. I don't think that we should complicate the process. What we do is similar to what we do at the universities, at what we used to do at the universities level. We just have a general test, and then they all join, and whoever cannot compete or cannot sustain, the level will drop out. Why do we have to, restrict it at the beginning?
Yes, yeah, I hear you. So, and yes, with the children, we will have a more rigorous selection test in the sense that they will have to take training. They will have to take theory test or tests, weekly tests. So we will have a more rigorous selection process at that end. As I said, it may not just carry the same prestige as, when you are kind of taking a test for giftedness. But I hear you guys. Yep. Anyone else? Jasmine, I see you raise your hand, and then I see Dennis actually raised his hand. So
okay, just a final note.
Whichever order you want, so go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just when we were talking about how classrooms that are going to be participating, I think it's different when you have little kids that go to school every day, Monday through Friday, right, than it is with university students. So I think that I agree in the fact that if a class has registered, it should be a whole different criteria, because we know that the teacher is going to be invested, and it's Monday through Friday. It's not like university students that they do this on their own.
Right.
And with the kids, they could probably schedule sometime during their weekly curriculum to do their ex-culture assignments and stuff.
Yes.
So I think in that sense, I agree that for the classroom, even some of the kids might not pass the screening, the readiness screening. It will still, you have a group of kids, 10, 15, 20 kids, they're all going to be working together, and the teacher will make the time so that they can work on their project.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'll have that issue.
Right. Okay. Yep. I hear you. So we're a little low on time. So I still see Noha raise her hand, Kirill, and Nora. I'm not sure if it's still not lowered. So go ahead, Kirill, Noha. Why don't you guys share your thoughts, and then we'll go on to the next question.
Yes. Hi. Hello, Bart
Kirill.
and everybody. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can see you. We can hear you. By the way, where are you physically? Because your
Yes,
Facebook. So it seems
yeah, I
like.
just arrived yesterday. Yeah.
Hold on a second. So
I'm
after
so
after
sorry.
we met you
I've
in
been
Miami, did you
traveling
go?
all these days, and I didn't manage to visit.
So after we saw you in Miami, did you go directly
sorry,
back
I
home, or
didn't
you went to
catch you.
California?
No, I just this time coming to Miami. I just arrived yesterday from New York. Yeah, and I'm sorry I didn't manage to attend any of the meetings because I have been traveling. Yeah,
All right.
just 1 week ago in Spain, and last okay. So
All right, go ahead.
and I just read. Yeah, I was so busy, and I just read now the agenda just before the joining now the meeting, and I just learned. I just got knew about this X-Culture Talent Search program, and I also, and after listening to everyone's opinion here, I'm also, well, I actually don't really understand. I don't think that we really need this talent search program, because of course it's another challenge for those people who we want to recruit, because I think just reading this test is just okay, it's fine, it's enough, just like for regular X-Culture participants, because as one person said, because of course there are two things like talent and activity, yeah, and I think activity is more appreciated in X-Culture project than talent, and I'm not sure what do you mean by talent. Well, I think like such skills like communication and leadership and teamwork. Well, I just consider it more as I don't know, the personal skills which are needed and appreciated everywhere. But talents, I don't know what do you mean exactly by that.
Let me ask then a question like this. So does anyone have anything to say different from what we've said so far? Does anyone believe it's a good idea and we should do it? And if not, we will just move on to the next question. Okay, good. So here is what I'm probably going to do though. So I do believe that you guys are on and I'm right. I do believe that you just don't know, don't have enough experience with that. So what we will do with that is, I think I will create a clone page that will have a requirement for this talent search. And for the online advertisement, I will be running separate from you guys. I will set up an A/B test, and I will have some people automatically routed to that, selection, talent thing, and others not. And then we will literally measure, first of all, how many people will not proceed and drop out. So we will know the exact percentage of the people who drop out because it's too complicated. And then if we have enough people who will actually go through it, we will put them in separate teams. So only the talent people, teams. And then we will just simply test, and hopefully we'll have a few teams, and we will see what will be the percentage of, free riders and how the satisfaction will be affected. So this way it will not affect anything related to what you guys do. So there will be just simply a few separate teams. But I want to know for myself.
You actually just want to show us that we are wrong, yeah?
No, in this case, I don't want to show you that you're wrong. I want to test if I'm right. And I think after hearing you, it seems like it would be wrong to make it mandatory for everyone. Because first of all, yes, it is a possibility that I may be wrong and it will complicate things too much. Second, obviously, you don't like the idea, so we cannot impose it on you because it will affect your own, work. So we can do it, but we can have it as a separate small test for a group of people who will not know that there is another option. So we'll literally, have some ads online, and they will be routed to a clone page where it will be saying, that's how it works. And so we will just do it, show it like to 10,000 people and see how many of them will apply and how much it will change. And then if anyone proceeds, we will have a nice clean split test, and we will see if it works. And so in that case, in the end, two things can happen. Either I will see the statistics and will say, you know what, guys, the crowd won. So the crowd knew up front. Or I will say, you know what, sometimes the crowd may be wrong. So we'll know. Anyway, let's close this question unless, Jasmine, unless you have to say something different, because we have 2 more questions to discuss and 20 minutes left.
Just really quick, I honestly think, and I know we focus a lot on free riders and people that are not going to participate. To be honest, that's one of the things that, even though I was in 3 different teams, and there was free riders, there was people, and that actually gives you that real life experience. How many of us have worked in our company and you have those people that are just there, and they at the end of the day take credit, and that's part of life. So even trying to eliminate those free riders, is it right to do it? Because at the end of the day, that's what this challenge or this experiment or this experience is supposed to give you real life experience when you are in the labor force. I mean, I've been working for a lot of years. I am still in school, but there's going to be some university students, high school students that have never worked, and knowing this firsthand from this experience, it's worth it. I honestly think it's one of those things that make you appreciate when you do end up in the real world.
You see, Jasmine, so what you just said is exactly what I say. What you just said, my microphone's not muted.
Hello?
So what you just said, that's exactly what I tell my professors. So when they complain about, free riding, I say, oh, no, and basically repeat your speech. But the reality is that 1, we will be dealing with children. 2, we will be dealing with people who actually pay, because with the students, the university sometimes pays, but the students don't pay. And all of a sudden, we have to deliver customer experience that is good. And so all of a sudden, we may not have to be very realistic in terms of what to expect in the real workplace, because as you said, free riders will happen every time. But as I said, here we have to also manage the customer experience, and free riders will damage that experience. And so that's why we should be very, very careful about not letting wrong people to participate. But anyway, let's close this topic. So Dennis, I saw that you were going to talk, and I see your hand, but I don't see where you are, and I'm trying to see if you want to say something related to the specific issue, or Dennis, did you want to add something? Go ahead.
Yes, I had wanted to say that, just as you said. Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I had wanted to say that if we can move on to the next questions, because I think we are spending much time on and this talent. Thank you.
Yeah. For the record, let me, and I will have the recording of this, we'll come back to this video in 2 years. I have a feeling, for some reason, I don't know why, but I mean, like intuitively and based on my experience, I believe that this talent search add-on will turn out to be the most important strategic decision we have ever made. It will make the program much more attractive. There will be people who come for it specifically, to have that label, my kid is talented, gifted, and is in the search program. And when we branch out and we will start doing things that are not only the X-Culture, the teamwork, but also X-Culture Symposium, X-Culture online courses, X-Culture webinars with, businessmen and stuff like that. And so when only those who are in the X-Culture talent search program are allowed to participate, I think eventually it will turn out to be one of the most important components that we added to our program. But again, we will not do it mandatory this semester at least. I will try to see if we can test it without affecting the rest of the program and see what happens. But as I said, I'd like it to be recorded so that in a few years, if it turns out to be an important thing, I will come back and, we'll give a TED talk sometime saying, don't listen to the crowd. Sometimes crowd is wrong. So go with your guts. Or I will say, you know what? Yet again, the crowd was right. So the crowd, in its wisdom, was right. But anyway, question 2. This one's easy, so I don't think we need to discuss it too much, but I would like to get your ideas. And this one, by the way, we will do no matter what you guys say, because it's not going to affect anyway. So
yeah, I understand you. Hello, I understand you that yes, you have to. I said I totally understand it. There is a new program that you can give it a shot and see how important it will add up to the program. But just as I'm saying, we have so many ideas coming up from each and every one of us. So I believe yes, it's a good thing. But as at now, just as you are saying, you can roll it separately. Just go ahead with it. Yeah. Who knows?
No, Dennis, I hear you clear, and you won, so you don't have to worry about that. So it is something that you will not hear about again until I have the statistics to show you one way or the other. But yes, no, this one's done. Question 2, advertisement on Facebook. So obviously, again, you will be doing your job. We will try to do some central advertisement. In addition, if you would like to advertise online, again, we will support you. But it is a difficult task, more difficult than I thought it would be. And so one of the ideas I have is to crowdsource the process. So I thought what we can do is allow or invite anyone, people out there, you guys, your friends, anyone who is willing to participate, to help us with the online advertisement. And the way I thought it would go is something like this. Anyone can submit a Facebook ad. It could be a video, or it could be a picture, it could be just text, or a combination of all three. And so hopefully many people will submit their ideas for that ad. And then once a week, for example, we will select one or maybe even several best ad ideas. And again, they can be selected either by us or maybe by the whole big crowd. And so we will promise to run that ad for 1 week. And so we will pay for, I don't know, whatever we were planning to pay anyway. So let's say invest a few $100s in that ad. That will give us, a chance to show it to tens of thousands of people. And then during that week, we will select the next best idea and then do the next one next week, and so on and so on and so on. And so the idea there is that by inviting the crowd, we can achieve several goals. One, as I said, I don't have good ideas for how to advertise online. And I'm sure you have some ideas, but again, it's hard to come up with a winning idea. And I thought if more people come up with ideas, we will have more good ideas to choose from. So it's one thing when only I think, even if it's only I and somebody who is a professional who's helping me. Another thing when we have me and professionals, but also all of you and maybe even many other friends, like thousands of people literally potentially could participate. I don't think there will be so many interested people, but I hope there will be at least 10, 20 people who will be trying to help. And so we will have more ideas to select from. Second, if we do the voting, so the selection process of the best ads based on an open, basically vote system where the developers, people who come up with ideas, tell their friends and ask to vote for the best design, we can have some free publicity. So let's say, imagine there are 20, 30 people who submitted their ads. They would like their ad to win so that they get the prize, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. And so they literally talk and ask every friend to like their design. And so there are thousands of people around the planet going and voting. And so here you have thousands of people who at the very least take a look at that ad and learn about our program. So at least they know, oh, there is this thing, X-Culture, what is it? Let me take a look. And so maybe some of them will actually like the idea and maybe enroll their children, for example, to participate. So that will give us some publicity and some, interest. Why would people want to submit their designs? Well, one, curiosity, competitive spirit. So if I had something like that, maybe I would submit some quick something. For professionals, especially people who work as freelancers, who actually make a living by creating ads, for them it may be a good opportunity to kind of promote themselves. So basically by participating, you make yourself more known, more visible. If you win, if your ad wins, you have bragging rights. You can say, oh, by the way, I participated in this competition and my ad was the best ad of the week and maybe even of the month. So all of a sudden they make themselves more sellable. So when next time they will, promote their services, they can say that I'm an award-winning, ad designer. Third, we can have some prizes. So for example, the author of the best ad of the week gets certain prize. I don't know. I don't think we want to pay too much, but there may be some monetary prize, and so that may be interesting for people, attractive enough to participate. Maybe even a bigger prize for the best ad of the month and maybe of the year. And finally, I guess professional curiosity. So you want to know how your ad compares to that of others, and so you may enroll just to see if you can win. So as I said, not so much just to see what happens, but also you really want to compare your skills to those of others. The risks are obvious. One, if nobody participates, it's not a problem. I mean, it doesn't change anything. So we just do what we would do otherwise. But what if many people participate but submit crappy ads, like really bad ads? And so if we say that we guarantee that we will take the best one each week and run it, that means that we have to spend money on one of them. And what if none of them is good enough? So in that case, obviously, we may, put ourselves in a situation where we have to give someone a prize and pay for their ad when the ad is actually not good. I suppose we can reserve the right to not run any ads. So if we don't like any of them, we can say, the best ad of the week. But if we don't like it, we reserve the right not to run it. That would be a little riskier. May undermine the whole, enterprise. But, or we can try 1 week and see what happens. If it's bad, we'll still pay for 1 week, but then just not do it anymore. Another challenge here is that I love the idea of the crowd submitting the ads and then an even bigger crowd voting on them. On the one hand, the bigger the crowd, the more wisdom we have in it, and hopefully the better ads they will choose, because ultimately those ads will be going to a crowd. And so we kind of get a chance to preview them for free before we pay for the, for the ads going live. But at the same time, when you invite people, friends, like ask your friends to vote, in that case, what often happens is people don't vote for quality, they vote for friends. And so first of all, people with the most number of friends will win, so their ads will win, so it's not necessarily the best ad will win. Second, in many cases, people may not even read the ad, so they just know that my friend is participating, I need to support him, so I'll click and I don't care even about reading the title. So that is also a possibility. And again, we can preclude that by eventually leaving the final decision up to our team, for example, people who have a vested interest and will seriously select the best ones. But at the same time, again, that may undermine the whole idea. So if we say that we'll go with the most popular, but then eventually still select something else, there is certain risk here. But at the same time, I cannot give, pass by the idea of one using a crowd to design ads with the hope that the crowd will come up with something that none of us can come up internally. To allowing the crowd to vote, again, with the hope that the crowd, in its crowd wisdom, will select the best ideas that will actually resonate with the group. And so I'm trying to give it a try, and I'm not sure how to do it. I'll just give you one example of how this has been done very successfully. There is this company called Threaded. They do t-shirt designs. And so anybody can submit a t-shirt design. So basically anything you would print on a t-shirt. They have the vote system. And so only those designs that get the most votes get actually printed. And so unlike many other stores that would print all kinds of t-shirts and nobody wants to buy them, Threaded never had a design that was not sold out. And the reason for that is because before they even start making it, they test it with the crowd, so basically with the future buyers. And so as a result, they always only print the designs that already have a confirmed interest in the crowd. And the only thing I believe they allow to test, to vote only to the members of the crowd. So you have to be a Threaded member in order to vote. So there is like an involvement, like there is a barrier. So not just random people can come and just vote for 1 second. You have to kind of create an account. And so I'm not sure if we want to do that. But anyway, that's the idea. And I want to hear your thoughts about, well, first of all, if we even want to do it. And I think I will try it no matter what, maybe at least for a week, just to see what happens. But two, if we try it, what's the best process? Any thoughts, any ideas? What do you think? Yeah, go ahead, Janya.
I would say that the idea itself is very nice because it will advertise itself because of the crowd. But as you said,
when you said, I think the idea is nice, I knew there would be a but.
sorry about that. Actually, what I'm afraid of is about the voting. And what I think we can do with that is to combine the system of voting and the system of choosing within ourselves. You know, so when the people vote for some design, yeah, they are involved. And that is a positive thing for us, because we want more people to be involved, to read about the project, and maybe to like the page or sort of that. But we don't want the crappy designs. That's why we can make like voting, crowd voting and expert voting. Let me say that. And with the combined decision to decide which one will go online.
So it would be basically just like Eurovision, where they have the crowd vote, but then the experts also vote. And
sort of, it will be like safe barrier for us, so we can say that at least the bigger part of the bad designs won't be online.
Can we do a combination of like vote up, vote down, so people can vote up, basically like, and those probably will primarily come from friends. But if you allow them to also vote down, hopefully that will be like, they will have less interest. But then they can vote down the second best design, so that the friend wins.
That works like a gangs, actually. You have your gang, your friend, and you vote for him, and all the others are enemies. That's a psychology, basically. So we don't want to have that. We want to have something more efficient.
Or give everybody 2 votes, and so you know that the first vote will probably go for the friend, but then the second vote they have to then kind of think who they want.
Probably.
I don't know. But then again, they can also strategically vote for the design that will not win no matter what. And so in that case, they will not vote for the one that can be a rival.
They're not as clever as you is. So.
I don't know. Anyway, that's an idea. Aurimas, did you want to say something? Go ahead.
Actually, I was crashing, but still okay. I can say something. I don't believe that we have to look at so serious in this case. What's wrong with that someone is voting for the friends? We need the crowds, yeah? We need the mass. So our point is to get the most likes and shares and something like that. Like general, yeah?
Right, yeah.
What's the point? I vote for my friend. So what's the big deal with that? Those ads, there will not be something that we have to sell. They will not be in our business cards. They will not be in our, I don't know, like the main topic of ours, yeah? It will be just the daily routine that we're doing and the update what they are updating. So I'm not sure that actually we have to talk about so much. We just need those likes.
Well, one of the idea was that, if people know that their design, if it wins the weekly vote, for example, will be, kind of basically really given the green light and will be posted, I think that will give some motivation. But when they, don't.
Oh, okay, I'm coming.
So that's the idea. So, but yeah, I don't know. We can try. Jasmine, go ahead. Dennis, did you want to say something? I wasn't sure because I see your hand, but I'm not sure if it's left from the last conversation.
Yeah, I want to say something.
Go ahead, Dennis, and then Jasmine. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. It's very great. Yes, the idea of the app is very, very great and fantastic. We are trying to pull up more people on this program. So absolutely right with the app's idea. But on voting, S-Culture is already a big community. So I believe probably we all know the importance of introducing this kid program. Hence, if somebody pull up an app
Dennis, your video is
and that
breaking
we
up.
are voting on the ourselves, probably can choose what is okay now.
Yes, it is better now. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. You see, my problem is that it seems to not be sure that friends who vote for, say, somebody who put up an app. Don't be worried about it. We are all S-Culture members, and I believe we want the best. So even if we vote for, say, a crappy app, you should have the ultimate power to say yes or no.
Yeah.
You get it?
Well, one thing, Dennis, you said that is very important, and we should have thought about that, is we do have a large crowd already. We have like 92,000 people at this time following us on Facebook. And if they vote, and I'm hoping that many of them will vote, even if there are, friends voting for friends, that the general partial crowd will be so large that hopefully it will kind of cancel out all of those biased, friends for friends votes. And hopefully we'll have enough independent voters that will still give us a good quality. Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
All right, one more last comment, Jasmine, go ahead. So we want to still spend a couple minutes on the last topic, so and we're moving slowly, so go ahead.
Okay, well, what I was going to say, if you really look, good publicity, bad publicity is still free publicity. So at the end of the day, if we have, just like Arimas was saying, if we have a crappy ad that keeps getting likes, eventually it becomes trending, and once it becomes trending, like it or not, it's going to grab people's attention, like, what is this? Eventually, just like you said, we do have 40,000 alumni.
Yeah, we have about 40,000 who have participated, and we have about 90,000 that follow us on Facebook, and about 30,000 who are signed up for the newsletter.
So if we use all of those venues to reach out to people, just like you say, it won't be biased. And if it ends up being biased, just like you said, there is a large possibility that it could become a trending thing. It could also be that it gets shared so many times because people want to get noticed, that at the end of the day, who cares what the ad looks like? Because they're trying to win, it's gonna become a trending topic or a trending ad itself. So whether it's good or bad, just putting it out there, whether they're true likes, is it the best? It automatically creates awareness.
Yeah, good idea.
Who knows? Hello.
Yeah. So go ahead. Yes. Dennis?
I said, who knows? Probably we may be thinking that it's a crappy app, but the kids might like it. So why not? The idea is just to let them come along,
also,
like it.
Dennis is right here. Don't forget that about almost a half of all the X-Culture participants are actually majoring in marketing, because about half of all the participants are in international marketing courses, not business courses. And so I think for them, it may be an interesting activity. I mean, they chose that as a profession. So my hope is that many students will choose it. But anyway, let me give a chance to talk to Sushant. Unlike you, lazy couch potato, whatever they call them, Sushant has been walking all this time, as you see. So he's actually burning some calories. Yeah, so that's a smart way to do it. Go ahead, Sushant.
Actually, I'm at a family function right now, so I have to be at some distance from there.
I thought you just went for a walk and you walk and talk. So, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So, are we? Can we be also open to getting professional advertisements done through sites like freelance.com?
Yes.
We can hold competitions over there. There are really great people over there. My friend got his company's logo designed over there for like $5,000, around $100, and it's a very good site. Maybe you could also keep that as an option, if not Facebook only.
Yes, I really like this idea. The only thing, and again, I will open it as a question, but will not ask for the answers now, just in the interest of time. But if you have more information, email me. Here's what I have to say about that. I tried it with Upwork some time ago. And Upwork is just like, like many of those freelancer websites where, mainly like creative people are offering their services. And the problem there is that they usually have a competition at the time of the bidding of the quotes, but not with the designs. So the way it works there, usually you say, okay, I need this help. And then people come and say, I can do it for so much. And they show you a portfolio of what they did in the past. But then you either hire one or you don't hire one. And so when you hire one, then you promise to pay so much, for this kind of work. And so you don't have a competition of, designs, you have a competition of applicants. And then once you select an applicant, you basically, have to proceed with the contract. And I actually tried once with that same site, posting a job where I say, I would like a competition and submit your designs, and I will select one and I will pay so much for the final design. And it didn't go very well with them. So they feel like that's not a good model, because they will invest all the time without knowing if they will actually, get paid in the end. And so I'm not sure, maybe there are other websites where you can have a competition where you say, okay, submit your ideas and I will select one, as opposed to submit your applications, your resume, and I will select one. So if you know of any websites where you can have the competition of design, We definitely want it. I just don't know which one would be the best. I know that Upwork probably will not work for that, for that reason. But anyway, let me close this one here. So if you have any ideas, do let me know in email, or maybe we'll have a discussion on Facebook. It seems like everybody thinks it's worthwhile trying. We just need to figure out the process. The final question, and this one, I don't know if first, if we should do it, and second, if we do it, how. And so the how is a bigger question here too. Bring a friend. So as I said last time, I think it would be a very good idea to offer some sort of incentives to people for bringing friends. And so when people bring friends, there are several positive things that happen. One, first and foremost, it's more fun to participate in the project when you have friends. So if it's only my child who participates, that's one thing. But if it's also my neighbor's child, it's, all of a sudden I can talk to the parents and see what their experiences are. My kid can talk to that kid. So it's a little bit more fun. You have this community growing. So people become closer friends because our children are in the same program. So we maybe have dinner sometime together, talk about it. And so we want that community. That's a big thing. Then third, the kids will probably discuss ideas. They will be working on a similar challenge. And so one will say, oh, my team thinks we want to do it this way. The other says, well, my team actually thinks we should do it this way. And so you have this exchange of ideas. And then probably fourth, and I guess less noble, but probably most important economically, when people bring friends, we have more applicants. So that's basically more pay for you, more participants for us. So just basically as a marketing trick. Well, I don't like the word trick. A way to attract more people. So if I have an incentive to tell my friends, you essentially have people bringing people, so it's less work for us. The big question here is what incentives should you offer? The most obvious one would be, if you bring a friend, both of you will get a discount. As we said last time, if the price is, let's say, $195, if you bring a friend, you get a $10 off, for example, and your friend gets a $10 off or $20, whatever that is. And so this way everybody wins, but it's a little difficult to do, because what if I enroll today, I pay my fee, but tomorrow I bring a friend? And then it becomes, so do you get a refund? How do you deal with that? So it becomes kind of a little more complicated. At the same time, in our case, I guess the payments will be only after the selection. So if people apply now, but they don't pay until a little later, I guess they have that week or two to bring friends. I suppose that might work too, and we can send them a different invoice. But again, will it be too complicated? Likewise, with the prices, should it be like a $10 discount for every friend? So if you bring 10 friends, you will get a $100 discount. I suppose it could work. I mean, economically, it would definitely be beneficial for us. But at the same time, would it be a good model? I also thought about non-monetary rewards. Like, for example, if you bring a friend, we will give you like a Amazon gift card so you can buy a book. Let's say, I don't know, $10 or so, which is roughly the price of a book. And so this way people will bring friends for kind of noble rewards as opposed to money. But again, Amazon doesn't work in all countries. Gift cards may not be transferable across the border, so it may become a little bit more complicated here. So I don't know how it would work. Likewise, we can give basically discounts or some sort of prizes for future events. Like if you bring a friend, you will get a cheaper, registration for the future symposium. And by doing so, not only do we, provide an incentive to bring a friend, but also provide an incentive to apply and participate in the symposium if they get a discount already. So I suppose that could work, but again, sounds a little too complicated. So my dilemma here is I believe it's something that is definitely worth trying, but I honestly don't know what's the best process, like how to make it not too complicated and interesting for everyone to try. And so that's where I would like to rely on your wisdom. And so tell me if you think first if we should try it. And here, I don't know if we should. So if you think that it's too complicated, we shouldn't do it, maybe we will not do it. And two, if we do it, I hope you will have an advice to how to do it efficiently. So what are your thoughts? Anyone? Yeah, Zhenya, go ahead.
I think that we should try it because that's the nice thing. And what I want to say that we don't want to be into this money things. I would suggest to have another like prizes or like Amazon cards, you said, and other things. But it should be, as for me, it should be like not the further price that you can reach in half a year in few months, but you must get it right now. As for me, it will work.
My microphone was muted. Yeah, that's true. The delayed reward, for the future, it always undermines the motivation. So obviously, second, it would make it more complicated. So the question is, what kind of rewards can we offer other than money? As I said, books maybe, but then again, ideally we want to have a reward both for the one who brings a friend, but also for the friend, so the friend has an incentive to participate. And so a book for everyone, I suppose that would work too. But is there some sort of a way to, to buy books for everyone, regardless of the country? As I said, if it was only for the United States, for example, I would just give Amazon gift cards and they could buy a book. And so that should be easy. But how do we do it with so many countries involved? So that's the challenge. Jasmine, go ahead.
Sorry. What I was thinking is, how you can change the application. So let's say, for example, when we're recruiting the parents or the classes, the teachers, if they have an option to say, list the name of friends that you're planning to refer to the program, and a disclosure that says these people must register within 7 days or whatever timeline we want to give in order for you to give the discount. This is the code you need, and then for the system to generate the code so that when their friends register, they will have to input the code and you'll be able to match them and see, okay, this person gave us 5 people that will be registering, and out of those 5, 3 did, and then we send them the invoice with the discount for both parties. Yeah, I don't know how complicated that could be, but
yeah,
I mean,
that's the idea I had in mind. I'm with you on this one, and the concern I have, it sounds a little too complicated, so I couldn't come up with anything easier. So the question then is, will it be too complicated or not? I mean, obviously somebody can say, why do you worry? So people don't have to do it, and so if they don't do it, it's easy for them. But if they want to do it, at least they have an option. Again, is there a way to make it even simpler?
I mean, that we have those people that do couponing. It's complicated, but they do it.
Right.
So those that want the discount will do what, I mean, if when we're advertising the program and we tell them, when you go into the registration page, please make sure that if you're planning to refer someone, go ahead and name them there, because if not, we won't be able to give you the discount. Yeah. So, I mean, you have those bargain hunters that will do it.
Right. Dennis, did you want to say something too?
Yes.
Go ahead. Please.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a fantastic idea. I will encourage that. Yes, of course, we should give some incentive for people introducing their friends and, say, family members. To be honest, we should give them a period, let's say a month after you enrolling on the program, or a space, just as my other colleague just said recently. We should give them a time space, like 2 weeks or a month for you to report or a code.
Or until the deadline, right? So like if the deadline is December, whatever, we'll put January the 20th or something like that. We can say, as long as your friends that you refer, apply by that date, then you will get a discount.
And it should not be limited to probably say me only. As in, if I should bring about 2 or 3 members to join, obviously, if they also introduce other people, I should also get some incentive on them. Say I brought in 4 people, and within these 4 people, one of them also brought another like 3 or 4. So therefore, probably I might get something small to spread that thing. Because for me, I see that our main aim is to enroll more people on this program. So whatever means or whatever strategy that we can use to help people to bring in more people, I'll go for that. Yes.
Yeah, so we just have to, as I said, make it so that it's simple and it doesn't look too much like multi-level marketing, because again, it may look a little, negatively. But yeah, I think so. Let's do the following. So
hello. The incentive probably should not be. I'm not limiting ourselves to say incentive of monetary, but it can be any forms. You get me? Like escort souvenirs. I get you, me.
Like a
yes,
t-shirt.
Of course we can. Yes, we can give probably say some monetary incentive or whatever, or discount. But yes, of course, as you bring in more people, escorters should also probably give you something. Souvenir or t-shirt, just as you said, it is good to encourage people to
Yeah,
just spread.
one of the challenges with the souvenirs is that the shipping may become expensive and difficult to handle. So I wonder, can you tell me, guys, do you use like ebooks? Like in your countries, are they popular? Like the books that you can read on your, like, I don't know, like iPad or
Oh yes, yes, yes,
because
yes. But
ebooks could be easy to handle, easy to download. It can be downloaded from the American side. So for us, it may be easier to do it that way. Maybe we can offer that as an incentive. Or maybe just monetary,
yes,
because I think for some people it may be all about saving money, so they may not care that much about a book for $10. But if they save $10 and don't have to pay it, I suppose there may be some people who will literally invite so many friends that they don't have to pay anything, which again could be a good thing. So I guess the person shows us the dedication by recruiting friends. I suppose that's fine. We'll kind of get our money from All right, so those are all good ideas. So any other comments before we close this meeting, because we have already 15 minutes to, Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just I came up with the idea that we have two groups here. We're gonna have two groups. The first group will be expecting the discount, and they will collect the friends for the discount to get the discount. And the other group will be the most interested in this one. So for those one, maybe we can, I know that's the question for you probably, maybe we can talk with some like businessmen, like, I don't know, the big ones like Brian Tracy, for example, they have the access to the webinars, which is expensive actually.
Right.
We have to talk with some guys like this one, maybe someone from States, and for those guys, for those group who is interested.
Right. Like free participation in the webinar.
For the really interested, and the reward will be the access to the 1 hour or like 2 hours or whatever professional webinar for maybe there is some for startups, maybe, so the kids and startups, they can, like, I don't know, more or less something like some sort of an entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, exactly. So this will be the reward for those who's really interested in that, and who is like who does that for the reason. Or maybe like 1 hour private coaching session. So, and we can have coaches like literally pay them that $10 for the time that they will spend for that hour. But your kid will have, so much. Some may complain though that, how come they get more training time, but then at the same time, well, they did a little extra work. So we have private coach, for so much time. I don't know. All of those are viable ideas. Let's do the following. So we have basically, way over time. I don't want to spend more time on this. I haven't heard Hendrik and I haven't heard Sintim, but I hope, guys, if you have additional ideas, just send me an email. Sushant wants to say something, and then at that point, we will conclude the session. But if you will have more ideas, just email them to me. I'll definitely take them into account. Go ahead, Sushant.
Not everyone might be interested in the books or the coaching that you are willing to provide. So what we could do is, if we are not able to provide the discount, like if the person has already paid his fees, what we could do is refund $10, not saying that it is a price for bringing his friend, saying that it is a discount that you are getting on the, like, this is the discount that you're getting on the fees and not a price for bringing your friend.
Well, that was the idea, that we will call it a discount. So I wonder if we can, just to keep it simple, you don't get a discount, but your friend gets a discount. And so this way people kind of give a gift rather than, get a discount. And so if
the person might not all that much interested in bringing his friend in the project, because he might be demotivated that he's not getting anything out of like bringing his friend in.
But
my point here was that if the person has paid the fees and then if you give a prize to him, then it's like kind of degrading the program a bit. Like, it's like you just want participants and you're giving out prizes. You are like, so what do we call it?
Right.
So into, like, you just want the participants and you're like ready to give prizes for it. So I was just suggesting that we won't give it as a prize, but we'll give it as a discount. And if the person has even paid for his fees, we'll refund the amount of $10.
Sintim, go ahead. We didn't plan more people, but go ahead. Share your thoughts. Hello. Yes. Go ahead, Sintim.
I'm thinking that the price of the discount could be given to somebody who introduces a person in the following season. Okay, because that will even encourage people to even go for another season. So I believe that the discount to give it to them in the form of a discount in the following season. You understand?
Okay.
So
Okay.
because we are encouraging them to be loyal and they can take as many seasons as possible. So for me,
Okay.
it should not be given to them as souvenirs or something, but it should be a price off in the following season. That's my point.
I agree. So that's a good idea too. Let's do the following again in the interest of time. Let's stop here, but I would ask you to maybe give it a little bit more thought, and especially on this last question, if you could send me an email with the process the way you see it, like, you know, at which time would the discount be applied or what kind of price should be included. Just, you know, like a very simple sequence. And maybe we'll have another meeting, I don't know, sometime early next week, and maybe have, if needed, more discussion if you want to participate. But I thought at this point we kind of understand now the issue. And I guess instead of spending another half an hour talking about that, maybe if you could send your ideas at this time, hopefully some interesting solution will emerge. And if not, we may discuss it a little bit later some more. But for now, as I said, we are way over time. So let's stop here and I guess see how it goes. Dennis, I see you unmuted your microphone. You probably wanted to say something more. So let me officially close the meeting now. So if you have to go, go. If you have additional comments, I'll stick around for a couple more minutes. Dennis, you wanted to say something, right? Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, just as my dear friend just said that the discount can be given to somebody that you introduce. This is what I want to say. If we allow or we let them know that they'll get a discount of 10%, I believe they can even come together in a group.
Right.
And definitely they know that they are getting a discount. So therefore, if say I'm paying say 100, then I'm getting a discount of 10, meaning 90. If I bring like say 4 or 5 people, I'll then go bring them together. Right. Then we will come and register.
That's a very, very good idea. I thought initially that, you know, basically allow people to come in groups. So not I register myself and then bring a friend, but kind of I collect a group and then I come as a group. Again, the question becomes—
So I get a discount.
Yeah, how do you organize that? So I even thought, you know, if there are more than 5 people at the same time, you give them the kind of the university rate. So you register as a school. And but then again, logistically, how do we make it happen? I like that idea very much. The question is, how do we organize it?
Oh, okay, can I suggest something?
Yes,
see, we are going. Yes, as RES, we are going to introduce the program to people. So as part of introducing the program to people, we can then let them know that probably if you come say individual, you are paying 10, and if you can introduce like 4 or 5 people, you are getting say 10% of your $10 you are paying. I'll not come individual. I'll then probably go around, try to also do a PR, bring people together so that I will come. This around when I'm coming not one person, but I'm coming in a group. But the group, I will then let them know or let Escocha know that yes, this group I am bringing them. So that I'll get my 10% off the initial amount I'm paying. I get it, me. So the option should be there. If we come individual, just as the rest here, we going out to do the introduction to people. You will let them know that if you can bring in say about 4 or 5 or say 3, in addition to yourself, you are getting a discount of this amount. That will propel them. Then of course you also even go talk to more people, their friends, so that they will come as a group. That is my idea.
Right. As a final thought, just and again, let's close it here because it will never end with so many people. But to what Dennis said, I will only say if that's the idea we will go with. We can create the application in a form so now they can choose. I'm a teacher applying on behalf of the class. I'm a parent applying on behalf of a child, and I'm a professional applying individually. But we can add an option. Basically, I'm a group applicant. And so we can allow them to do that. So if it's a group applicant, you can add another participant. So basically one application for the whole group. So technically we can make it work. The question is if that's the best model to go forward. Anyway, let's stop here because again, time is valuable. It's Sunday. I know for Sushant, it's like, midnight now basically, right? So, and for some of us, it's Sunday, so we want to do some things. Send me emails on all 3 issues. If you have any additional ideas, I would appreciate it very much. Ideally, if you could do it like literally, if not now, then tomorrow, because those are some of the decisions we have to make as soon as possible. If we do it, then we will want to do it from the beginning. So I would really appreciate your input, and I will share the video. So let's stop here. So I'm going to stop the recording.